Hello there, Dylan Adams, Seema. Dylan Adams here. Just going to give a quick film about some background information for the module Families, Schools and Society. So what I really want to do is to explain a bit about the reasoning behind the module, why it was designed the way it is, and what really it's about. Okay, so the idea behind it really is to kind of examine the role of partnerships within primary education and also the idea of community in primary education and holistic approaches to education. And so during the module, we'll be thinking about and exploring the benefits of different groups and settings that provide opportunities for, using the idea of community and also holistic approaches in education, but also some of the challenges and the tensions that can exist in these areas as well. As I said, I was always the teacher that did after school clubs because I loved doing them. I think I worked in 5 different primary schools where I did after school clubs, and I loved it. And these ranged from choir to rugby to orchestra. I did animation clubs, I did school radio clubs, philosophy clubs, all sorts of different clubs. And it was a wonderful opportunity for me to see the children in different contexts. And I think that what they get in those environments, they often can't get in a classroom environment because of for various reasons. It might just be something simple as space, or it might be the fact the busyness of the timetable or the amount of children in the classroom, that for all sorts of different reasons, and the activities themselves, of course. And if you've ever run these clubs or you've helped with these clubs, you'll know that children can flourish in these environments in ways that perhaps they don't always get the opportunity to do so in the classroom. But at the same time, there can be competing sort of pulls and pushes to do with these clubs. So, for example, when I was teaching, there were SATs, standardized assessment tests, all sort of year groups. And in the summer, perhaps when we wanted to go on and do tournaments with rugby or football and so on, then they might not be, prioritized as much as the SAT. So there may be different government priorities, or it might be at the school level. It might be the school level priorities, and if you're pulling children from different classes, and then you've got to negotiate, with the teachers as well. And then there are other stakeholders. Obviously, you've got parents, head teachers, and then, depending on the space and the time, you've got caretakers, cleaning staff, potentially kitchen staff. If you're going on trips and so on, you've got taxis, school bus. So all these sorts of competing challenges that, because you're outside of that normal classroom environment, because it isn't just that standard regular time that everyone has bought into, then there are sort of competing parties that can add to the challenge of these sorts of groups. And so these groups don't have to be after school clubs as well. I mean, they could be indeed, breakfast clubs and dad reading groups and digital technology clubs, rambling groups, charity groups. But we might be talking about things that happen off school sites. Okay, so it might be religious groups, or there might be weekend groups or holiday groups or after school evening groups, Cub Scouts, Brownies. Homeschooling is something else that is basically directed at primary school age children, but takes place outside of the normal school class timetable or class environment, and therefore involves partnerships and having to negotiate partnerships. And the other thing that these all have in common is they all have a link to holistic education theory. And interestingly, we talked about how children can flourish and grow and develop in these environments, often in ways that perhaps they don't, particularly some children, that they don't in a classroom environment. And that possibly is because of the link to holistic education. So the different pedagogical approaches, the different underpinning theory, perhaps, that those approaches, those activities, those environments can be linked to. And that's what we'll be learning about. So your assessment will consist of a portfolio, and that's in two parts. So the first part is a presentation. You actually submit both parts together, but the main part, the first part, is a presentation. And this is where you will choose a topic that interests you. So you might choose rugby clubs, you might choose breakfast clubs or homeschooling or gardening club. And you will design a presentation that analyzes your topic, chosen focus, in terms of its challenges and its benefits. And then the second part of the portfolio is you'll do a short written summary of how your topic relates to holistic education theory. And that can come through in the presentation as well, but this will be no more than 1,000 words, so just a short summary of how your topic relates to holistic education theory. And you'll be taught about holistic education theory. We're going to study holistic education theory in different contexts. So then you will learn how to be able to link your topic to holistic education theory. And indeed, there'll also be seminar sessions. There will be online tutorials about how to approach, how to design your assessment. So that's just a little bit of backgrounds for the reasoning behind the Family, Schools and Society module. Drop me an email, or you can email Chantel or Dusgy. Okay, so bye for now. Hwyl am tro.